by not showing up exactly when they expect you to, you make them wait. They're now already being conditioned to wait for your pattern, right? So then, please welcome to stage mind reader Jonathan Pritchard. Then I walk out and they go, "Oh, there he is," and they didn't even know they were asking a question. It's
when we come on.
Intentional, it's great. Unintentional, not so good. So I come out and do that thing. So I'm doing the jokes and everything, and I'm watching people's reactions. That guy's laughing too much. Oh, he volunteered way too fast. So he views himself as a trickster joke guy, and he wants to test his mettle against a professional entertainer because he thinks because he can make people laugh at the water cooler that he would be a great entertainer. But an entertainer's obligation is to manage the experience for a room full of people, not make one person think that he's funny, right?
That happens with stand-up a lot.
I'm sure
when I used to do stand-up in college, you would have every single weekend, you would have – the worst were when people would come in with bachelor parties or bachelorette parties because there's always one person in those that think that they're funnier than you and they're going to show everyone at the table. And
exactly.
I always had
and all their
stock line that I used where I would go, they would get to talking and I would say, you know what? If your dick was as big as your mouth was, you wouldn't be wasting your time here at a comedy club with me. You'd be at home fucking her. And that would shut them up very quickly. But
I love that.
Every single time that that's actually not mine. But I did use it because it was too good.
Yeah.
It was way too good.
Yeah. It's like I've structured the show so that I don't get hecklers anymore by making everybody else the star of the show. I make them make everything happen, right? They don't know how it happened. They know I made it happen, but they're getting the credit for it. So, okay, I'm going to go along with it anyway. So in that case, if in the way off chance, like once every 3 years, I get a heckler, I can shut them down and be like, look, I'm not going to let you heckle my good friend up here who's doing a brave thing, coming on stage in front of all you people and working with somebody they've never met before. They're working hard to make sure that you're having fun. And you know what? I will not allow you to make fun of them. So you either shut up or you're going to get out. It's your choice.
Make him
What's
disappear.
it going to be?
Throw a blanket over
Make
him.
him
Make
disappear.
security take him out.
No. You can't. You absolutely cannot meet that with any kind of joke because that will be taken as an invitation to, oh, this is the time where I get to show off to the performer guy. This is my time to be funny, right? So you've got to completely get rid of that conceit and just go, look, I'm talking to you as a real person, and what your behavior is unacceptable because it's impacting my friend here that I just met, and it's my job to make sure everybody in this room has a good time, and you are actively making that not happen. So if you're willing to sit down and participate along with everybody else in a collaborative way, I want you here. But if not, you have to leave right now. Well, I was just, I don't want excuses. I don't need to hear any explanations. You either agree or don't. And if you don't, leave.
And what happens?
Good.
Do they agree or do they stick around or do they have to go?
And then they're just like, I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, here we go. And then they always come up to me afterwards and like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, no, it's cool. You just needed to know where the boundaries were. You found them. But
you know what I feel it would work
I'm sure
in this environment if you looked at them and just went, I'm not even mad at you. I just want to tell you that I'm really disappointed in your behavior. And I can't even look at you.
That was my dad.
That hurts worse than anything.
Right, but that's the weird thing about it. Anything that's not the performance will not work because it will be taken as continuing the dynamic that encouraged their heckling in the first place.
So we have to make it believable. So you can go like in a soap opera. I'm so disappointed in you.
Well, no, you just can't not tell them why their behavior is inappropriate. You can't try to shame them. You can't, in the context of this mind-reading, collaborative, improv dynamic, It
Sure.
cannot happen if one person thinks that I'm going to let that bullshit continue, right? Because if it were just me on stage doing my juggling or whatever, whether there was an audience or not, I could still do it, then fuck it. I don't care if there's a heckler, because then I'll shut them down.
Sure.
Because my success and getting paid isn't predicated on getting people from the audience up on stage and being able to do it in a way that everybody enjoys, but especially my client who's got thousands of dollars of my money in her pocket. Now, how am I going to resolve this so that my client is still happy and looks like $1 million to her boss?
Start getting it up front.
So I have a question.
That'd be great.
So I have a question. What is like people's favorite bit that you do? Like people's generally the favorite trick that you do?
That's really weird because there isn't one. I'm always surprised because I ask people. It's called Question and Answer Act. And it goes back to the oracles of Delphi, when people would ask questions to the oracle would go commune with the god, babble insanely, and then the priest would interpret the message and then give the message to the person. It's why people go to palm readers. It's why people go to tarot card readers. They want to know about themselves. So I just tell people about themselves. And we all find out interesting things about each other together. And to me, it's fascinating because it's different every single time. And it's focused on them. And it's amazing. It's funny. It's got all the texture. It's got fun moments. So yeah, that's my favorite thing, because it's the most direct connection with the audience. So there's that one. We're halfway through the audience choosing thing. So I've got my litmus test to know that I'm not going to invite the guy who volunteered too quickly, because I've been in the situation where I go, you know what? Come on down. And then it's a fucking train wreck. And my whole show is destroyed because this one just asshole thought, you know what? This is how I derive pleasure from destroying others. And I invited that on stage. So that's negative reinforcement. So let's not do that again. So you find the boundaries of the right personalities, and you see it right away, how people respond to that exact same opening from 10 years I've been doing that, right? So then I now know, okay, that's the guy I'm going to bring up for this routine. That's the person I'm going to bring up for this routine. Those are the 3 people that I'm going to bring up for the other thing. So I'm already mapping out who is going to help out with the show. And I just straight up tell people, I go, look, I understand it can be uncomfortable being in the room with a mind reader. Everybody, you got your secrets, you got things you don't want shared. And I give you my word as a person, not a performer, that I will never reveal anything embarrassing about you. I mean, unless it's hilarious, and then all bets are off. But really, you guys make my show. I'm a mind reader. I could tell you what I'm thinking, but that's not impressive. The only way that we're going to be amazed tonight is if I could tell you what you're thinking. And since you make up the show, I want to treat you with love and respect so that you've got the best chance of having the best time of your life. You're going to have experiences you've never had ever before. And I do not want to take that from you. So I want to show all of you the respect that you're due. And as an audience, you're going to show exactly the same level of love and respect for anybody who's brave enough to help out with the show so that you've got something fun to watch and tell your friends about later. Now, with that agreement, we can move forward, right? And everybody's like, fuck yeah, okay, yeah. They all clap because, boy, this guy seems like he's all right. And that's right at the beginning of the show. So now, who's gonna heckle that, right? Who's going to go, nope, I want to be an asshole that violates the contract that we all just agreed together to uphold?
Yeah, lots of people.
And they don't come to my show.
Not Twitter.
That's good, though. I mean, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Right. So all my advertising, and I don't even do many public shows. I don't let those people into my experiences.
That's good.
They're just not invited, because for the most part, I'm invited by the college student activities board to come in and entertain college kids who have self-selected to show up and spend their time at my show. They're not forced to.
Yeah.
In the corporate world, sometimes, you know what, I do a lot of holiday shows, a lot of Christmas time shows. So they go, you know what, we've been saving up all year to have a great party for everybody, and we're going to be doing awards and giving away the 35-year award to Carl. He's been with us for 35 years now, so we're just going to really have a good time, and we want you to be the entertainment for that, right? So when I show up...
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, when I show up, I go, you know what, your CEO asked me to. Your CEO flew me in from Chicago. That's where I'm based. He and I, we go way back, and he flew me in from Chicago because he wanted to show you guys a great time. So let's have fun. Now, what employee is going to mouth off to the CEO's friend?
A former
the person that's getting fired tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. So there are ways to leverage the interpersonal psychology of the particular dynamic to make sure that people behave in alignment with what is appropriate for the experience you're trying to create for them.
Sure. And because I think we will share similar situations with this, because in college I used to I did a stand-up, and I myself would get booked for holiday gigs, especially a lot of corporate outings. There was a huge golf complex near where we were, and it was like they were booking comedians left and right all the time, every weekend almost, to come in there and do parties. Now there are 3 different types of parties that you can do. I think this is my experience. There are sober, family wholesome parties.
Yep.
There are weekend raging alcoholic. I mean, just balls to the wall. And then there are what I call the in-betweens. These are the people that they have like that token program almost, where they get a certain amount of vouchers for drinks. Everything's regulated, so they can only have like 3 drinks per their party. Those are the worst. That's like purgatory. Nobody wants to be
mandatory
there.
Fun.
Right, exactly.
You get 3 laugh units. Spend them wisely.
What's the weirdest, or do you have a story that sticks out with you in these corporate events? Because I have I have a story that will never, ever leave me, and I feel like people who are in that situation that, you know, deal with those kind of circumstances, there's always one that sticks out as like memorable for not the right reasons.
Right. So far, I've been fortunate enough to have taken enough precautions that I haven't had one of those yet, but I just know that it's kind of like potential energy. The higher up you get, the more kinetic energy could be released. So I know my potential awful experience just keeps increasing more and more for every time I go and don't have a horrible experience, until like I'm going to die on stage or something. Well, but yeah, like, I've had horrible experiences on stage, but like in the corporate world so far, I'm doing pretty good, because, you know, a lot of the coke money, right? The cocaine 80s and the .com 90s crazy parties where it's just like, fuck it, we'll have a mind reader and 8 strippers, yeah. Like that was kind of before my time. And then 2008 hit, and then the recession. So a lot of the expendable dollars just evaporated. So many companies don't have that kind of ridiculous money to spend on a nightmare scenario for their entertainer. If they're going to bring in an entertainer, this is, you know what, we're not going to have the chocolate cake, so we can afford to have this guy in. And they're not going to fuck it up. They're just like, oh, okay, let's be careful here, guys. Yeah.
Usually, from what I've seen, it's unforeseeable circumstances. Like for me, the day that I still to this day, it gives me cold chills to think about. But I was approached after a show